A housing unit for asylum-seeking mothers and babies is so unsuitable that it's breaching their human rights. That's the damning conclusion of the Scottish Children's Commissioner in a new report laid before Parliament this week.
A visit to the complex in Glasgow found that the bedsits have no space for babies to play, crawl or stand, and that cookers and heaters were dangerously close to cots. Campaigners have compared it to a prison. The operator Mears Group has promised to take action. Kay Nicholson reports.
That's where she's sleeping, and that's where the cot is. She's drying her clothes in the room.
This is just one example of the cramped conditions of this housing block.
If the house is broken, what future does that child have?
This woman was heavily pregnant when she moved into the unit in Glasgow last year. She and her baby daughter, who is now 8 months old, live in a single room where the bed and cot are beside the basic kitchen facilities. She was so worried about speaking out that she asked us to protect her identity. What's it like living there?
My baby is starting to crawl. The house is too small. I'm frustrated. Isolation it's a big problem. We are not even part of a community at all. You want to integrate, you want to meet new people, but when you come, you get treated like this. Then you're like, what's the point? What's the point of life?
Every single mother deserves to nurture their children, and every single child has a right to be nurtured and cared for. Each time I go to the mother and baby unit, it reminds me of a prison. It embodies a detention centre. And I'm speaking from experience. I was in a detention centre.
Concerns were first raised a year ago, and provider Mears Group did say it was going to move them. But a year on, women and children are still housed in the unit. That's led to the Children's Commissioner issuing a new report today, saying the conditions there amount to a violation of human rights.
We went down at the invitation of the mothers to look at the limitations on the floor space, to look at how close the cot had to be to the cookers, which obviously raised real kind of safety issues, and to see how the environment really constrained those children's rights. We want the conclusions that we've drawn to provide support to Scottish Government and to other statutory agencies who are looking at the really welcome response to the Ukraine crisis.
Mears says it'll review the future use of the building and move the families to alternative accommodation over the next month. But campaigners fear the damage has already been done.
When you put a child in a space where there's no room to play or explore, to crawl, to stand, all of those things that you would expect a baby to do in the first couple of years of its life, it has a really detrimental effect, and that effect could be felt for years to come.
We've already got the warning signs, and the UK government are about to pass legislation that would actually make this really dreadfully the norm.
The Home Office says it's disappointed by the report and that its new plan for immigration aims to support vulnerable asylum seekers in need. Kay Nicholson, STV News, Glasgow.